Hey everyone, it's Renee from Sweet Pea Labs here with a preview of the Engineering Design Process 8-step digital notebook that I just released in the store. So we're going to take a look here at all of the files that you get with the notebook. Included, you'll have a master copy. You can see printables here, which would be PDFs of all of the slides. We've got the student copy and the teacher copy. And I'll explain sort of the difference between each of those and why we have a student and master copy as well. So I'm going to click in the student copy here, and you can see the slides here on the left-hand side. I've included, I chose rainbow colors. I liked it. Plus, we're using an 8-step process here for the engineering design process. And you can check out the graphic. I put it with a black background, also with a white background, so that you can choose which you like best, or students can choose which they like best. But notice that each step of the process here has a different color, and it coordinates with sort of the rainbow color here with the top graphic. As we click down, this is what students will see. They have each of the steps of the design process here and sort of a little description on what to think about in each step. Here for the students as well, I've got tips and tools, shortcuts. This was written for a Chromebook, so things might be slightly different, but things that make it easy to use in Google Slides. If they're not incredibly familiar with Google Slides, they can sort of refer to the tips and tools here that I've created for them. They might be using things like inserting their own text boxes or inserting images, shapes, charts, things like that. So they can always refer back to this page. Then the students have one page that coordinates with a color. So define is the first process. You can see back up here, we'll just refer define here is in red. So we coordinate that with their notebook page. So the define part here is red as well. So we've got what do you notice, what do you wonder, what do you see, what is the problem? And then type your notes below. So the students will be able to type their notes here in the text box that's already created for them. Notice that they can't move any of the background, so you don't have to worry about that. That's already set in place. All they will have to do is type in their text box here. The next one, we have identify. Basically identifying the parameters that you might be using for the particular prototype. Is there a size limit? Different types of materials that you might need? Does it have a cost? How will you know that you're successful with building your prototype or creating your prototype? Things like that, and then basic notes that they can type here. We've got Brainstorm. Again, just listing all of the solutions that you can possibly come up with a problem. Making sure to let your students know, like really list everything that they can think of. Select the solution that you think will be best. So explain your solution below. Again, very basic template here for them to just explain using typing. I do want to mention, as a sort of differentiation, or for students that struggle with typing, they can use voice to speaker notes and then copy those speaker notes and paste them into their slide. So that's an easy way for students that are struggling with typing or getting their thoughts out if they do a better job of speaking. You can't just do that into the text box on Google Slides, but you can do the notes you can do voice to speaker notes. Next thing we have here is prototype. So creating a prototype of your solution. This is a place where students might enter pics or images of their prototypes, and you would have to decide what format you want them to do that with. You can take pictures with Chromebooks. There are a lot of different things you could do. They can save all those pictures in their Google Drives. Again, this is a Google app product, so everything can be done with Google there. Testing, describing how you did your test, describing the testing and the results below. And then iterating, of course, once you've done that, whatever you've learned from your test, and then you can make improvements to your prototype. And then each time that they make improvements, they can add their notes here on the iterate page. And the last step, being communicating and letting your audience know your solution in detail. So I want to go back quickly to the graphic here. Here with the engineering design process, I wanted to make the graphic very cyclic because the process is cyclic. You keep doing things over and over again as quickly as you can to make those improvements on your prototype, and then finally communicating your proposed solution to an audience. When I go back in here, I want to show you that I've created a master slide deck too. That master slide deck actually matches the student slide deck. It's the same thing, but the reason why I included a master slide deck was so that if you are sharing this through Google Classroom, you can share the master slide deck and the student slide deck together, making sure to choose the option to make a copy for each student. And that way they'll have their own master and own student slide deck. The student slide deck will be where they will take their notes, and that will be what they turn into you. But if you include the master slide deck, let's say the students are on the iteration page here and they have all these improvements that they keep making to their prototypes and they're taking notes on those and they run out of space on this slide, they can go to the master slide deck and copy the slide and then go back into the student slide deck and add that slide in where they might need to, right? They can press the plus sign here, add a new slide, copy, paste it on. So it just makes it easy for students to be able to create those extra slides. The other way they can do that, if you don't want to include the master slide deck, if you feel like that's confusing for your students, they can duplicate a slide here, but it will duplicate the slide with the information that they've typed in the text boxes. They can delete that information and have a clear slate there to start on. So your choice, you can either choose the master slide, have them copy and paste a brand new clean slide, or you can have them duplicate the slide and erase anything that they've typed in there from the previous time. I've also included the teacher slide deck, which has just a little bit more information. So we've got the terms of use, my terms of use for Sweet Pea Labs, tips and tricks for you, which includes what I just talked about with duplicating the slides or using the master slide deck. Again, I mentioned the differentiation with using voice type, speaker notes, and then copying and pasting those into the slides, and a couple other things for you to think about. And then I've also included in your slide deck a black and white version of the engineering design process. If you want to make a black and white copy of this, that makes it really easy. Perhaps you want kids to color along as they complete each step, or just have it as a reference, completely up to you. And then I think that is all that's extra in the teacher slide deck. So that's about it with the engineering design process. I've created the 8-step process here because I felt like it really broke it down. I will be creating further digital notebooks with different versions of the engineering design process, fewer steps as well. So look for that coming out. And you can check me out at sweetpealabs.com and see my Teachers Pay Teacher stores on there too. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you'll get all of my previews and any tutorials that I come out with. So take care. See ya.